Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at the new comic books I picked up this week for New Comic Book Day, December 18th. We're going to start off with one of the heavy hitters for the year, Absolute Batman number 3. Now I continue to enjoy this story. This one was very not history, but a lot of childhood scenes with Bruce and Selina, and there's also one giant chase through Gotham City with the new Batmobile that has some tricks up its sleeve, which I kind of think. Now I don't know. It's so I don't know if I want to. I'll give it away. So the Batmobile is this big hulking machine, right? Like it's this big. Those like construction dump trucks that you see. I was introducing them through like a truck book for my kids. Like I remember reading this book about all these different types of trucks, and I saw this like gigantic dump truck thing, and I have a feeling that's where Scott Snyder or Nick discovered this giant beast of a vehicle. But it's cool. I mean, it's it fit this Batman, right? This big imposing vehicle that is not like anything you've seen before. And then in this book, I feel like it's kind of a cheat because it has some transforming capabilities, and then it kind of transforms into a little bit more of a Batmobile that might be a little more familiar to us. And I don't know, I felt a little bit like a little bit of like too much of a swerve because I wanted to see what you're going to do with this gigantic Batmobile, and then as soon as you need it to be sleek and fast, it turns into the sleek and fast vehicle. So I was a little let down by that, to be honest with you. But otherwise, a really solid issue, and another continuing furthers the story. You get more of Bruce's backstory. You get more of the Alfred and Bruce Wayne, Batman partnership, and there's some real. It raises some important questions, like. Batman is presented with an option to potentially get his hands on a lot of funds that would help him build the Batman character more than what his capabilities are in this universe, because he is one that doesn't have a lot of money. So, are they going to set that up? I don't know. It seems too early, I think, to shift something that is so different and has been kind of like a defining difference in this character so far within the first couple issues, and then maybe give him option or give him access to money. Not sure how I feel about that. So, solid story. Willing to see where this goes. I'm enjoying it, but I don't like some of the things that are already steering it back to a Batman that we kind of know. So hopefully that's just a swerve, and hopefully that's not what's going to be what we're going to see moving forward, and it will continue to be something that is very different. And that's what I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be this very, very different take on Batman, and one that I'm enjoying. So anyway, next issue, looking forward to it. Although it's a different artist, not an artist I'm super familiar with, and that's another point that I don't know. I'm not an artist. I can't create art on any type of deadline, so it's not like it's for me to say like, oh, this should be the same artist. But we as readers, I want to see if it's a five part story that was set from the very beginning. This is part 1 of 5, right? So I feel like that needs to be the same artist on those 5 issues. The next issue is supposed to dive into a little bit of the history of how this Bruce became Batman, and I feel like if Nick Dragotta is going to be the kind of the artist on this series, I want to see Nick Dragotta draw that this Bruce Wayne becoming Batman, and then I want the first trade to be this 5-issue arc and the same artist. So minor gripe. I understand that deadlines and there are a real thing, and that there's a need to kind of alleviate some of that pressure. If that's the case, I don't know if this was always planned to be. He would be these first 3, and then there'd be a sub in for the 4th issue. But I gotta be honest, I'm a little disappointed and let down that's what we're getting. So I mean, I don't know. Again, it's hard for me to say what should or should not happen, but this has been in the works for a long time, as far as I understand. Like in talking to or in reading some things that Snyder has said, that it's been like 2 years planning this story. Now 2 years of planning and writing, and that's separate than, it's not saying like Nick Dragata has had 2 years on this story at all. So I'm not trying to say like, oh, you had all this time, you should, I'm not saying that. It didn't. I feel like you shouldn't you shouldn't give the go until kind of like the you can assure that the main series artist can do the first arc of the book. So I don't know. Again, who am I to say? I'm just some random dude, but I will say, on a trade, I like seeing the same artist on a story arc. So, we'll see. All right. Next up, we're gonna do the Moon is Following Us issue 4. Daniel Warren Johnson, Riley Rossmo, colors by Mike Spicer, and this continues to be an excellent story. They're I don't know how much I want to, because as a series goes on, I don't know how much I want to kind of give away, and that's the hard thing about talking about each of these issues in a brief kind of synopsis. But I will say this: so the family dynamics, it's essentially two parents going in to save their child who's kind of trapped in this dream world. There's other family members that kind of come into play. There's some family drama that is introduced, and it was introduced a little bit last issue, and then it continues here, and it's really compelling. I think it's really, really interesting stuff. Riley Rossmo is going to town, drawing the dream world sequences, and Daniel Warren Johnson again handling the real world scenes. And there's I'd say it's pretty evenly split between the art duties in this book. A lot of pages set in the real world, a lot of pages set in the dream world, and it's a good mix. I think it's a good a good balance for the book. And again, really, really enjoying this. I'd recommend anybody pick it up. But I will say it's a 9-issue thing. I have a feeling that I think it'll be a great read for the whole trade. There haven't been too many like crazy. The cliffhangers for each issue have been good, but they haven't been like, oh my god. So it's not like there's this. I don't find myself thinking about this series like, what does this mean? What could this mean? I'm just enjoying it for sure. But yeah. So definitely looking forward to that next issue. Really enjoying it. Don't get me wrong in saying that you don't need to read it issue to issue. It is a good read. It's just I have a feeling it's going to be one hell of a really good solid trade, like as a complete story. So all right. Next up, I have this is a book that I. Well, let me switch it up. We'll do this one first. All right, so this is Terminator issue 3. I'm not sure if I talked about Terminator issue 2 because there was some issues with it coming out not on time, or there was the weird kind of dynamite and problems with Diamond, and I'm not sure, whatever. And I actually think this came out last week, to be honest with you. I can't say that I'm loving this series. The artist has already changed. I liked the art in issue 1. I thought it was a good fit for the story. But this does have a bit of an anthology feel to it, where it's like the first issue was focused on some characters, and that story was kind of resolved. And then the second issue and the third issue, it's set in Vietnam, so it jumps around in time periods. And I think the second issue and this issue were drawn by the same artist, and especially in this one, there's some. I don't know. It's just not. It's kind of like I've already lost my interest. Essentially, it's fun to see Terminator stuff. It's fun to see this property. I enjoy this property. But again, if you change the artist so frequently, you kind of lose me. I don't know. So that's that one. Now we'll get to this one, which I was really looking forward to. This has been a long time coming, and finally it's here. Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger. Now, this is written by Jimmy Palmiotti. Art is by Patrick Reynolds, and colors by Louis NCT. So, this is freaking awesome. This is a book that, and again, let me let me frame that. I really enjoy Western stuff. I enjoy the character of a gunslinger Spawn. So I definitely have been looking forward to this series. This is a series that takes the gunslinger character and it shows you the main series so far has been like present day stuff, and there's been some flashbacky sequences, but mainly set in the present day. And as soon as I saw this character introduced a while ago, a couple years ago now, I've wanted a Western version of this character. I wanted this character set in the Western, and that's what we're getting here. Written by Jimmy Palmiotti. Like I still haven't read all the Jonah Hex stuff, but I really enjoy his work on Jonah Hex. So this is it's and the art is a perfect kind of fit in the sense that it's has this kind of gritty Western take. The colors are beautiful. There's a couple different settings in here. You get the oranges, the warms of the sun. You get there's some snow settings, so the white, like you feel the environments, and that's great. That's a testament to the art and the colors in this for sure. There aren't a lot of elements of a Spawn, like supernatural stuff. You do see him get his the powers, the Hell Spawn powers in the book, but largely it's like a Western kind of revenge tale. You're introduced to this character, Javier. You see he has some sympathy for some downtrodden characters. There are some kind of nasty, stereotypical Western outlaw bullies, kind of those type of characters, and you see him Gunslinger take it to them, and that's a great way to start the first issue. Maybe not groundbreaking in the sense of what a Western story is. However, I think it's a great tone setting introduction to the character. So this got off to a great start. Really looking forward to this one, and and as an art collector, I was interested in this art. They announced this book like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years. I don't know. It's been a long time, but it's finally out. The art was done. The pencils were kind of like a looser type of pencil, so those were done traditionally, and then the inking was done digitally. And I love the work that was done digitally. It gives it a great textured grittiness to it, and it's beautiful stuff. But thankfully for my taste, as far as art buying goes, I don't have to worry about honing in on certain pages, because it's not really the way that the art was done, not really what I focus on and how I buy art. So yeah, so I can just sit back and enjoy this for as long as Patrick Reynolds is on the series. And again, as an art collector, it's so stupid the way our brains think. Like, I'm happy that some of this art is done digitally, because then I don't feel that I have to go buy some. So I don't know, whatever. I just want to enjoy the story, and so far I very much have. So, all right, a couple more things here. We'll do. How about this one? Rocketfellers number 2, written by Peter Tomasi and Francis Manipul on art. And yeah, this was fun. I love what they're doing so far with the Family Odyssey stuff. It's just a fun book. There are some elements of this is a family that's had from the future, had to go back in time to escape some type of threat. You get to learn a little bit more about that in this issue, but largely what it is a Christmas issue. And there's this, they go out to cut down a Christmas tree, and there's some touching family moments in this. So in the first issue, the grandmother of the family is she dies. She dies in the kind of opening sequence of issue 1, and she had a strong connection with her granddaughter, the younger daughter in this series, and you learn that the grandmother had this strong connection to nature and the trees, and when they go to cut down a Christmas tree, the little girl reacts negatively, like we can't chop down. That's like, you can't chop down a tree. That's nature. So you see some kind of future sci-fi tech, and the father decides, well, let me take this little branch and try to grow my own tree, and I can still have a tree for the family. And then there's some a story that comes out of that, and I thought it was pretty heartwarming. I thought that's it. Yeah, in a book that is kind of billed as like a family-focused story, there were some really heartwarming family elements to this book. So I definitely enjoyed that. Now we'll do one more issue, which before I do G.I. Joe number 2. Now, and to be fair, I haven't even read this yet. This is kind of a game time decision, but it was New Gods, the New Gods number 1, written by Ron B., art by Evan Cagle. And there's also some pages by Jorge Fornes in this. And it seems like they're doing a little bit of a, split art duties, like a kind of a guest featured artist, because issue 2, I saw that there's going to be 4 pages done by Jesse Lonergan. So I put issue 2 on my pull list because I want to read I want to see that. I want to see those Jesse Lonergan pages. And since I was getting issue 2 of that, issue 1 was on the shelf. I was like, let me just grab that today, and then I'll why not check it out? But I haven't read it yet. I might not read it until issue 2 comes out. Just it's been a busy week. All right, so moving on, we'll talk about GI Joe number 2. Yeah. So this issue, GI Joe number 2. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this one. I just did the video talking about the art from issue 1, and I think I might do the same thing with this issue. And kind of go through because I can get the art scans for this issue, and I might do the same thing to do like a full issue recap. So I'll give a short kind of synopsis here, and then we'll do a more in depth look at it in a bit whenever I get a chance. I mean, I don't know, holidays are kind of crazy, so we'll see when that happens. But anyway, so this issue. A great continuation from the first issue. The first issue left at a pretty crazy cliffhanger. This picks up the action immediately following that moment, so it's a good continuation of the story. No missed beats, so you jump right back into the action. And I love this version of Duke. Man, I talked about it in the issue 1 recap, but yeah, this Duke just feels like an 80s action hero. I was talking to another friend, and he made that point. I was like, that's exactly what it is. Like, this Duke feels like an 80s action hero, and I love seeing that. And growing up watching those like 80s action movies, the cartoon origins, in the 80s, it just fits. And this is a Duke character that freaking love. I think he's a very interesting character. I love that he's like a thorn in the side of some of the Cobra. There's right in like the 3rd page, Mercer is there, and Duke is kind of giving him troubles, and Mercer's just like, I hate this guy. This guy sucks because he just won't die. And that's awesome. You see more of the Cobra Commander is very impressed by Duke. He's he's like kind of like this guy's crazy. This guy's we should get him on our side. But that's really fun. More Destro Cobra Commander dynamics at play. But the main thing about this book that's what I really really enjoy is that, again, it sets it up that the GI Joe team their backs are against the wall. They are their numbers are a bit depleted, a lot of injuries, some characters that are missing in action, and there's you get a little bit more of the introduction of the character Risk, who's a new character for the series, and kind of how his dynamic between the dynamic between Risk and Duke is fun. So yeah, I really have been enjoying obviously all the Energon Universe stuff, but this issue, yeah, strong continuation from issue 1, and I'll get more into that if you're interested in a little bit. Whenever that is, I'll record a video looking at the art scans from issue 2, and then I did, because these freaking variants, man. I did pick up some variant issues. So The Moon is Following Us number 4. This is the Danny Warren Johnson cover. A variant for G.I. Joe number 1, the Jason Howard. I like these. I like this series of variants that they're doing, but I did the G.I. Joe second printing, G.I. Joe number 1 second printing of the Risk cover, and then Transformers had their 10th printing, which is crazy. But I bought, and it's a sickness. I bought 4 issues of Transformers number 1. So part of the reason why those sales numbers are so high, one, there's been so many variants to begin with, but I think they're also being kind of smart with some of the variants that they do. So all right, so first one, this is the Transformers number 1 10th printing, the Dead Bumblebee cover. That's pretty great. I mean, what? That's just fun. And then this is an image that this was a good early image of Jorge Corona's work on Transformers. It's Transformers, again, 10th printing, but it was a promo image that he released for the characters. And what I love about this look, I really enjoyed the look of this piece when it was drawn, when I first discovered it. But you look at it now and see where Jorge Corona is with his Transformers art, and like it. I don't want to put this down, but his work now is like so much better. So it's fun to kind of see the evolution of feeling out the characters. And this was, like I said, this was I think done as a promo before even the issue 7 was out, or any of the issue 7. Maybe I don't know if the cover had been revealed, or I'm not sure. Maybe this came out right when he was announced as a series artist. But yeah, I enjoy the image, but I like what he's doing now so much more. So all right, and then two more Transformers. There's this gold foil version of the Optimus Prime cover, and then you're getting to a lot of covers when you have the series artist who did the cover for number 1 homage his own cover from on the same issue. So this is the Starscream homage to the Optimus Prime cover, and I love this one. I love the fact that there's I'm guessing that's it might not be no, it's not. I was thinking it might be Carly's dad, but it's not. It's actually like some military dude who's like under Starscream's foot after he just squished his tank. So yeah, that's really cool. And then the last variant I picked up was a Gunslinger Spawn, Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger variant, which was the Todd McFarlane variant. I just thought anytime you get Gunslinger on a horse, I'm like a sucker for that, and I love seeing it. And it's McFarlane, so that's a fun variant. So while I try not to do too many variants, there are some that I just really kind of speak to me, and I like having. And then there's I don't know if you can see it here, but back there I have a spinner rack, so I like to switch out some of the comics every once in a while and just see what's on display. So these all make for fun kind of display pieces that are on the spinner rack. So anyway, all right. That was a lot. I spent a lot this week. Wasn't planning on it, but it just happened to be some big titles. The G.I. Joe, Absolute Batman, Moon is Following Us. Like that's a solid week right there. Just those 3 titles. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this one, and I will see you soon.